I've just started recording.
Okay.
So I think the best way to do it is I'll just share my screen, and we
Yeah.
can go through the project together. We'll start with skills analysis, and then I'll also go over AquaTraces as well.
Right.
Okay. I'll just quickly go one by one, and maybe we can just talk about each real quick. The first one being urgent is on Partha. I've talked to Partha about this one specifically twice or maybe 3 times now. But just so you're aware, I'm still not receiving the contact form submissions from Skills Analysis. Emily receives them, and then the email info@skills receives them. I'm receiving also the one-time code when I log in. I can receive that just fine, but I don't receive the contact form submissions for whatever reason.
I will talk to Shanta and ask him to push Partha about it.
Okay, yeah, because I've talked to Partha, but I know how busy he is, so it might be falling through the
Yeah.
cracks just a little bit.
The fact is, you are getting the OTPs properly. You are getting the reports properly. So why not?
Right.
Fine. All right. The next one.
The next one, the URL for a single assessment, when you click into the Buy Now button,
Yeah.
it now says subscribe, which we know.
Subscribe. Right.
I left a comment this morning. If
All
it's
right.
possible, if we could just do like /assessment instead
Yeah.
of subscribe, because it's one assessment.
Yep. We can do that, but think of it like this way: that each page or each feature, those get created based on the URL. Now, we can change it as per whatever you like or the client likes or whoever likes. But the fact is, it will take a little bit time, like say a day maybe.
Okay.
So, I mean, it can be done,
And yeah,
but it
in
will
this,
take a little bit time,
sure,
eight
yeah.
hours or 9 hours approx.
Okay. In this case, I think that's fine just because it's right now it's kind of inaccurate, right? Like we don't want the URL to say subscribe if you're only buying one. Um, so I think that's fine. We can go ahead and move forward with getting that one updated.
Yeah.
I had a,
So I tell the guys to work on it whenever they have time for it, I guess.
okay.
That's
Yeah.
okay. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm not setting any specific due dates just because I know you guys have more things on your plate and we seem to be tackling things at a steady rate right now. So
Yeah.
I trust you enough to not set a due date right now.
Right. I can't
um,
provide a due date unless I speak with them. Actually, I need to
right.
speak with both of them,
Okay.
the developer and the senior developer as well, if required
Okay.
part.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
They have all agreed, but they just want a confirmation that what exactly we are going to write. And have you spoken with her? How much time will it take? I said no. I need time to speak with her and stuff. So, okay. Thank you for the confirmation, and I will look forward on that. Okay.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. About this one.
Yes.
So they have kind of like have a solution for it. Uh, Previously, you weren't able to kind of like upload any image directly from the local system from your PC. So right now you can do that.
Okay,
Uh,
yeah, so I actually asked because our content writer is the one that uploads the blogs on Skills, and I asked her, I was like, how are you getting the images in there if there's no like if there's no ability to actually add the image like you have it circled here? Because that's not on live right now. So and she just said that she was copying an image and pasting it into the body text here or to the content field. Um,
yeah, that will bring out the real uh, link URL over there. But
okay.
um, I want you to give it a try in Dave. If you like, I can show you. The stuff is right now is straightforward that anything you pull up from the within the system, it's going to, I mean, say skill analysis, not the other way around.
Okay. Yeah,
So
I don't think you need to show us. I think it's pretty straightforward. So I'll have her try it on Deb and see if we're having the same issue.
sure. All right.
Um, but then just in case too, I just want to make it a habit of if something is done on the dev environment that we move the task down from
Mhm.
task list to dev test server waiting for QC, just so it clears up this. So if it's assigned to me and then you did work on dev, if we could just move it down here.
Yeah, I
Um,
need a confirmation from your end.
okay.
Previously, what we are doing is we are uploading it straight to the live, and we are transferring the this task below to the QC.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, I just need the confirmation as part of tool. So yeah, okay, not a big deal.
Okay. Just give me 1 second.
Sure.
Oh my gosh, my earbud just fell out of my ear. Okay.
Maybe it's asking for a replacement.
No, yeah, my I use AirPods and they're definitely a couple years old now. So it's like jumping out of my ear. Okay.
Yeah, that's
All
what I
right.
said. It wants a little bit vacation, a long vacation.
Right. Okay. Next task, add time average to company profile. Okay, it looks like you did this one. I'll move it down to dev server. Let's look at next one. Images within blogs are displaying funky. Okay. So I understand that when the other task, because the other task with the URL issue, we'll test that one. And from what you're saying, that these two tasks will kind of be fixed at when
These
the
two
other one is
tasks are, yeah,
okay.
actually, we had a trouble with it, and we spoken with the design team as well. So they asked us to first implement that media upload feature, and then they can work. So yeah, after they have worked on it, they simply told us that please do mention that provide a high resolution image that will work perfect. So I checked it within the dev system and showed it to them. They approved it and asked me to mention it over here. So
Okay. Um,
should be working properly. Just give it a try with the new image. And
okay. All right. I'll move it down then and we'll let you know.
sure.
Okay. This one you said was done. So I'll move that one over. Okay.
Yeah,
And
that's
being on the dev server, I just want to double check that we used the MailChimp API and then that if I test that, it'll work.
mm, this one is please implement this sign up page. Yes. What do you want to do?
I just want to double check that it's actually connected through MailChimp and it's not going to be like a static form.
Yeah, go ahead. You can give it a try. Mhm.
Okay. Silence page updates.
Which one is it? Uh, content item, content. The size. Oh yes, yeah. the design team showed it to us, and yeah, uh, developer worked on it and done that.
Okay. So I just want to confirm so I see the drop down is there. I just want to confirm that the content throughout the whole page was also updated.
Yeah,
Okay. All right, this one. Did I skip one? Oh no. Okay. Just kidding. Okay, so you left a comment on this one. This is to um add a description to the blog like when a category is selected on the blog page, we want to add a description for that blog category, very similar to what we did on like Store Master.
yeah.
You left a comment to provide the front end design, but it looks like I already did link that. So I have the back end UI design linked here as well as the front end design.
Okay,
So
okay. You got that.
I'll assign, I'm gonna assign this one back to you.
Yeah,
Okay.
this one is done, but I'm still getting an error message. If you want, I can show you. Yeah.
Yeah, an error message for the legal page task.
Uh, mm, yeah, something like that. Let me show you. Hang on.
Okay,
I'm sharing my screen over here.
sounds good.
So, see, it has created a new tab. All right, but the issue is there is an issue. I don't know how it's coming up. Let me show you. You know, so over here within this page section, let's go like this, legal like this. Hang on. You can see my screen, right?
Yep, following.
All right. So yeah, this is the one. So over here, I just clicking means left clicking on this one, the URL. Click on edit. Just open it in a new tab. You click on it, you close it, or you click on it, you enable it. It turns green.
Okay.
Done. And then you go ahead and save it. This is the stuff. Well, we initially thought that it would work everywhere, but the fact over here, somehow it's for some reason. Let me show you. I clicked on the link over here, the URL. Click on edit. Click over here for a new tab. There you go.
Mm,
Now, the developer is kind of like searching for it, like what might be the case, but he is pretty much sure that it might be related to the content. The whole content is too huge for the system to save. So I don't know what to say. He is still working on it. Okay.
okay. All right, sounds good for that one.
Mm.
Um,
All right. You can share the screen. You are already shared the screen. Okay. That's it. So I want you to go through with all those tasks, and yeah, just give me a text message saying that I can. It's good to upload right now. So
okay.
like that.
I think there was one more I wanted to go over, so let me open that. It was this one here, the automate page title and meta descriptions. Um, so I think this one might have gotten a little bit confused. So what we're referencing here is you have the main blog page, obviously, which has
Right.
pagination. Um, but when you're on, so the issue here is that we're obviously working on SEO for skills
Right.
analysis,
Right.
and because the blog page has pagination right now, it's flagging us because it thinks that every single page for pagination has the same page title and meta description. So for page 1, like the main blog page, it should
Right.
have
Yeah,
the
about that.
page title and then dash page 1 for both added to both the page title and meta description, and then like on page 2 of the pagination, it should automatically add page 2 to the end of that, just so we're not getting flagged on duplicate content.
Actually, Ravi, kind of like he's the senior developer, when he
Uh-huh.
looked into it, he already mentioned that I think this can be done by manually. So that's why I provide some screenshots over there that for whatever blogs you are referring to, you can simply provide the meta description for that tab title.
Okay, can you show me
Yeah.
just so it's
Um,
super clear?
right. Let me share my screen. Uh, yes. Right. So go to the blog management backend page, add, edit, select SEO tab, or so over here, blog. This one, this one. SEO tab, meta title. Now, let me check from here. Blog, calculate. Yeah, this is one. So,
So I think we might be talking about different things here. Because I'm talking about the main blog page. I'm not necessarily talking about the actual blogs themselves. And
okay.
you actually, we might not be able to see it on dev because there's not enough blogs, but because we don't have pagination, like it's not, we don't have enough blogs to show pagination at the bottom. So this page here
Mm-hmm.
um, should have a page title and meta description for SEO. Um,
This page.
and yes, this specific page.
Hang on. Blog page.
Yep.
So, page meta.
Okay. Great. Now say like go to the live site. You'll kind of, I think it'll be better explained.
Okay.
If you're on the live site
Yeah.
and you go to the blog page,
Oh, sorry. Right.
okay, yeah. So this main page has a page title and meta description. And then if you scroll down and go to like the page 2 in terms of pagination, so you can see more blogs.
Right.
The page 2 has the same page title and meta description. And because of that, Google is flagging us for having duplicate content in our page title and meta descriptions, which Google doesn't like when it comes to SEO. So we want to automate it So when you're on page 2, that in the page title and meta description, it automatically adds the words page 2 after the page title and meta description.
Got it.
Emily, I believe Emily said that we've done this for a client, or maybe actually I think we've done it for the Hyro site.
Mm-hmm. Skill
So I
sciences, want to discover, develop, and track leadership. What happens with that? Over here as well. One tool to discover leadership. Same, but yeah, I think page 1 and page 2 needs to be provided over here. All right.
Yeah. So we just don't want to be flagged. So I'm gonna move this task back into.
Just change it to mining. I need to speak with developer for 2 things.
Okay.
Uh, fine.
So in
So
this case, would it be helpful to move this task back up
yeah,
to task
yeah,
list?
yeah. Bring it back to the tax list and mention mining. Assign it
Okay.
to under mining.
Okay.
And which what is the other one? Blog category page, legal page. Yeah, this is what. Motivate page title and meta description.
Yes. I just left a comment that we reviewed it in the meeting. And then I am recording, so I can send you this recording once we're done.
No, fine. That's fine. Front end design. Front end. I have the front end design. Oh, all right. Fine.
Now I'm gonna go up to the project into design, just so I can review this task with you. Um, I'm sure you've heard that we're making the assessment 56 questions
Right.
instead of 50. I have met with Andrew multiple times on this logic because it was so hard for me to understand. And I I tried my best to describe the logic in this task. I even put kind of like an example here. The UI for this task is approved, so I'll be officially assigning it to the dev probably today. Um, have you had a chance to review the logic? Do you have any questions on this?
Yeah, I have a question over there. Logic for percentage. Now, hmm, the answer is same, but different for scenario B. But hang on, once I see, the designer showed me that this logic earlier, and there was some typical thing. How do I say it? All right, a same question with different scenarios got. I mean, those got raised, and first time the user makes it correct. The second time the user makes it correct as well, choosing the right answers for both the scenarios. But the third time, if he kind of like fails, then what will happen?
So I think that's where we're misaligned here. So we don't really care if the user is answering it right or wrong in our eyes. That doesn't matter to us. What matters to us is that the user is answering it consistently. So I think I'm gonna open up the design because I think it'll help us better understand
All
the
right.
logic here. So it's loading. So just give me 1 second.
So
Okay. So say we're looking at the question history of one question,
Right.
and you have the three different scenarios, obviously, and then you have the answers. So
Mm. Right.
we, like I said, we don't care if the user is answering this correctly. So obviously, if the competency is empowering, we're hoping that the user answers it in an empowering way. In this case, it's answer A2.
Right.
But that doesn't matter in this case. So say they answer scenario A with empowering.
Right.
They answer scenario B with empowering. They answer scenario C with dominant.
Right.
That's kind of a bad example because I just said that right and wrong doesn't matter. So let me change it up actually. So
All right.
say they answered scenario A, B, and C, all of the same in terms of the answer. So all of their answers leaned towards dominant. Even though the answer is wrong in our eyes, the percentage of these scenarios would still be at 100% because that means the user saw each scenario as equal. So they read scenario A and they still thought dominant. They read scenario B and they still thought dominant. And they read scenario C and they still thought dominant. So that means that each of these scenarios are equal. That is what we're trying to find out. We're trying to make sure that each scenario within a question or each scenario within like one competency is equal in the user's eyes that's taking the assessment. So we don't necessarily care if they're answering it correctly, which is empowering in this case. We just care that they're answering it consistently. So let me give you an example that they would answer it differently, right? So scenario A and B, they answered it consistent with dominant, but
Right.
then scenario C, they answered it empowering.
Right.
So that would mean that A and B are equal because they answered A and B correctly, but then scenario C is not equal because they answered it differently.
All right. There was another thing you have mentioned over here about the threshold thing, which
Yes.
aligns with your this idea. Now think of it like this way. If a person doesn't make all three answers according to his mindset correctly, whichever can it be? I mean, it can be uh, what was that? Empowering or dominate, what? Dominant or dominant. Let's say, I mean, if a person selects all three options, um,
Differently?
yeah,
Yeah.
not yeah.
Yeah,
Let's say
I think
it
I see where
differently.
I see where you're going. So say they answered scenario A, dominant, scenario B, empowering, and scenario C, transactional incentive.
Yeah, they will hit 0%.
Yeah, right. So in that case, then we know that all three scenarios are not equal, which means that each the percentage for each of those scenarios, or in this case, the one user, it would be 0%. So
0%.
yes,
Right.
yes.
Now,
So
taking it another way, if a
uh-huh.
person makes two of them correct and one, let's say he hits kind of like a wrong one, it will still be 0. I mean, less than, it will be 50%. I guess that was written. Which should be, which is kind of like less than 50, less than 70% threshold.
Right.
You
So that's why we want at least 5 people to test the same scenarios, because if we only had 2 people that answered the scenarios, then this is what like that's the example I have here. So if they answered A, B, and if the first user answered A, B, and C consistently, then
yeah,
all of the three
that's 100%.
scenarios would be 100%, right?
Right, right.
The next person, if they answered A and C consistently, but then B, they did not answer consistently, that would make that 0%. But then the average of those 2 users Scenario A would still be at 100. Scenario C would still be at 100, but then you have scenario B at 50%. And our threshold is 70. So in this case, scenario B would be flagged, but that's why we want at least 5 people to answer all 3 scenarios, because we want to make sure that that we're not just flagging questions that only have 2 people that have answered them.
So if a person makes one question incorrect, he gets 50%?
Nope. So that's an average of the 2 users. So you have so scenario B, the first person had 100%, the second person had 0%. The average of those 2 users is how we got the 50%.
Oh, okay. And what about that's 50%? So if a person, let's say, I make it kind of like average of A and B, one is correct, one is incorrect. So that makes it 50%. If a person A makes 100%, I mean, he strikes it. A person B makes it at 0%. So now the percentage will be 50%. Hello, can you hear me?
Yep, I'm still here. Sorry.
So when C comes into picture, if he makes kind of like a correct one, or either of them is similar to the C, I mean, C makes a choice which is aligned to either of them, either A or B. So that makes it kind of like 2/3 of the section is correct. It's more like how.
I'm not sure if I'm totally following what you're saying here.
Okay.
Or what you're trying to ask.
Right. Hang on. Let me just say it like this. I'm sharing my screen right now.
Okay.
You can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Let's say a person selects empowerment, which can be a correct or an incorrect. I don't care, because I'm looking right now to compare it with the threshold stuff, which is by default is 70%, right? So, sorry, this is 70% of threshold, and I make it. The first one he selects is empowerment. The B one he selects dominant,
Mm-hmm. And
and
these are for these letters for the A and B, are we talking scenarios? So for this scenario A, he selected empowerment. For scenario B, he selected dominant.
yeah,
Okay.
and by this, if I say this is 100%, this is 0, I mean, since both of them are kind of like different, so the person hits 50%, right?
Nope, not. So we would need that third answer to know
Okay,
the percentages. So give me a third answer for the scenario C. What would he select?
let's say he selected empowerment.
Okay. So that means that scenario A and scenario C are equal.
Right.
Right. So the meaning of those scenarios are equal, which means that they stay at 100%, because that's our goal here, is the scenarios are equal. So
All right.
scenario A, in the percentages thing, the percentages is the percentage of the scenario, not necessarily the user, not necessarily the question, or sorry, not necessarily the answer itself. We're
Right.
looking
I'm
at
not
this.
talking about the answer, which is correct, which is incorrect. I'm not
Yeah.
thinking of that.
Right. Yep. So A and C are now equal, and they're both at 100%.
Right.
Because we're only talking about one user, scenario
Mm-hmm.
B is now at 0%
Okay.
because that was the inconsistent one.
Right. This is 0%. Fine.
Mm-hmm. So give me another case scenario then.
No. Now what should be the total overall threshold for this question or this?
So that's not what we're looking for though. We're not looking for the overall threshold of the whole question. We're looking at each scenario specifically. And that's why in the design, if I were to look at like all of the questions, we're adding columns into the assessment screen. I'm sharing my screen if you want to just
Oh, yeah. I mean,
so so I'm looking at the whole skills analysis assessment, all of the questions here. We added columns to see the scenarios. So because each scenario is going to have their own percentage. So scenario A and B in this case, like if I'm looking at this one, they have 60% and scenario C as 100%. That would mean that I think the percentages here in design are not totally accurate to the logic itself.
no, no. All right. Tell me how you are getting that 60% and 100%.
Uh-huh. So right now we have six sample people that have answered all three scenarios, right?
Right.
This is
Oh,
telling us that all six of them answered, sorry, they answered C consistently. So when they all answered scenario C, they all answered it in the same way. So that means it's staying at 100%. The 60% means that they answered it inconsistently. So they may have answered it in a different way that they answered scenario C. That's why this logic is a bit wrong, because
these
I'm
are
trying to.
options, right? Is it scenario or options? A, B, and C?
These are scenarios. So another thing
Okay.
that we did here was if I'm looking at the question history, we're actually changing the answers and how we describe them to A1, A2, and A3. We thought it was really confusing that like you have scenario A, B, and C, but then you have the questions A, B, and C. So that's why we've changed the answers to A1, A2, and A3. So that's how I'll
Good
reference
thinking.
the answers.
That's a good
Um,
one.
so when we're talking over here, we're talking about the scenarios in themselves, and the scenarios meaning
Right.
because within each we have three scenarios, right? Three.
Right, right. Yeah. So the person selects scenario A and he selects 60%. 60%? Yeah, it would be either 100% or
Yeah. So it's
0% or 50%. Yeah, got that. Uh, mhm.
so if we switch,
Wait.
if let's switch back to what you were working on just a second ago because I want to add on to that.
Yeah, hang on. Let me share my screen again. Now it got confusing. So over here.
Because the logic is hard to kind of wrap your head around unless you're
So
seeing multiple users answer it. So this is an example of one
let's say these
user.
are options. Yeah, this is an example of one user selecting
Yep.
an option A. For the next scenario, he selects another
What do you
option,
what do you mean by option?
answers.
So that's what I want to get away from. So we're not looking.
How you will get
So
the empowerment option then,
so
or
instead of
dominant.
option A, we're talking about scenario A. So within scenario A, he answered it with the answer that was empowerment.
All right.
So
Fine.
change
So,
option to scenario, because we're not talking about the answers here.
okay, fine. It's a scenario A.
Mm-hmm.
He
So
selects
within
empowerment.
so within scenario A, he has selected the answer for empowerment. Within
Right.
scenario B below, he's answered it with the answer of dominant.
Yeah.
And then scenario C, he's answered it empowerment. So that's why A and C are equal, because he answered it consistently. And B is at a 0% because he did not answer it consistently. Let's add on a user here. So copy and paste this, and let's change up the answers.
All right.
So you still have, so the second user is answering the same scenarios that the first user did. But for
Got it.
scenario A, we can say that they still selected empowerment just for the sake of keeping that the
Right.
same.
Right.
For scenario B, let's say he also selected empowerment.
Fine.
And then for scenario C, he selected dominant.
All right. Fine.
So this is now telling us that this user thinks that the scenario A and scenario B are equal because they answered it with the same type of answer. And scenario C is not equal. So taking in reference the first user's answers to all the scenarios, scenario A is still 100% because they both answered it with empowerment. It's still consistent.
Oh.
So scenario
Oh.
A is still at 100%. Okay.
Right.
Scenario B, we have users that have answered them differently. So first user answered it with dominant, second user answered it with empowerment. Those are no longer equal in our eyes.
Got it. Got it. So,
So
what
that
should
would
be the
make
percentage for B and C?
50%
Got it.
because you're taking the average.
Yeah. Both of them.
Yes. Both of the users' answers for those scenarios. Do you see where I'm getting the 50% from?
Right. Can I
So
add another user?
yeah, go ahead.
Let's see. Hello. All right. Same goes. Empowerment, empowerment. Dominant. That's 66%. Is this correct?
Yes.
Again, it's right, 66%. Is this how it should be?
Yes. But this is why we want 5 people
Right.
in the sample size, because if we only had 3 people take this, then scenario B and scenario C would be flagged because it's below the 70% threshold.
Tell me something. How yeah, is the system is going to acknowledge that only 5 people, the first 5 people are going to take this exam? I mean, having this repeated questions scenarios. Is the system is going to identify that, or is that going to be done by manually by people?
No, it's so so I think I know what you're asking. Let me pull up the logic just so we're on the same page. So the questions that it pulls are random for the user. So each user could have a randomly selected questions added to their assessment.
Right.
These 6 extra questions. However, it's going to be a weighted random, so we can make sure that we're maintaining data for all of the questions. So if we have a good amount of data for some scenarios, but we don't have a good amount of data for other scenarios, then the system should know to include the questions that we don't have a lot of data for the next users.
Tell me this one then. If the system kind of like collects 5 of this data, after that only the that UI you have shown me for the scenario A, B, and C, will
Mm-hmm.
that come up? I mean, I'm talking about people. Let's say you have selected the first 3 questions as a repetitive one, and the system does that. So until the 5 users successfully complete the event, this event, till that time, these cells A, B, and C, they will be blank, right?
Yeah. So if nobody, okay, so nobody has answered them. Yeah, this is kind of wrong. So these should say 0 if it's blank. If nobody has answered these, oh my gosh, I just moved it.
No, I'm talking about that. How many people you are talking about? You have to wait till 5 people. After 5 people, the data will get generated over here. Is that the? Am I getting that right? So the system has to wait for 5 people to complete this repetitive questions,
Mm-hmm.
so they can show the final answer after this. Else, if a user, or let's say if the admin, or if someone higher up looks into it, with having only 2 people or 3 people have done it, and the system has generated the percentage, that would kind of like misleading to them, right?
So that's
That's why.
why I want you to pay attention to the color. So you'll see here that this is actually right because the sample size for this question is only 2, and the sample size for this question is only 4, and this has not turned red. It should only turn red if the percentage has 2 things. If it has a sample size of above 5, which this one does, and if the percentage is below 70. Only if it has met those 2 requirements should the color of the percentage turn red. If it doesn't have a sample size of 5, but it's below 70, then it's still black because it's not flagged yet.
Alright.
So we still
So
want to see the percentages of all of them, even if the sample size has not hit 5, just so we can maybe see which ones are on their way of getting flagged. But only the color should turn red if both of those requirements have been met.
so it should be 6, and it should be below 70%, right?
Yeah, I would say equal to or above 5. So 5 it can still turn red. But then obviously anything above a sample size of 5 can also turn red.
So after 5, should we go ahead and stop the percentage calculation, or should we still
Nope,
keep it?
just keep it calculating. It can be anything above 5, and then like,
Let's say its sample size is 11, and the percentage of any of them is, let's say, 20%. It should be in red.
yes.
Okay.
Well, the hope is that we've caught it, right? It's going to flag the question, we're going to see it, and then we're going to change the scenarios or change the answers so that they're equal. Once we change it, then the percentage will start over and the sample size will start over because we've changed it. But I believe there's already a thing set in the system that if we've changed a question, it'll kind of archive it and start the
It
data
will be
over, right?
starting from
Yes.
the fresh.
Yeah. So it's not going to be like an endless thing, right? It's not
No.
like the sample size is not going to be, it's probably not going to be over 10, hopefully, or maybe it's going to be over 10, but it's not going to be over 20 because the system's going to flag it. It's going to tell us that we need to change something because it's not like the scenarios aren't equal. And obviously we want all the scenarios to be equal. So we would then alter it so that the scenarios are all equal.
Right. Okay.
And then we've also added something to the dashboard as well. So you can kind of see here, I'm looking at the dashboard, and we've added a section here to show those flagged questions. So you have the question, you have, so this will actually have to be updated. I don't believe this one was updated according to what I just showed you on the other screen, because we're not using an actual flag anymore, and we need to see the scenarios here. So I'll have Ayush come in here and update this section here. But we've, just so you know, we're also adding a section to the dashboard. So if an admin logs in, we can see right away if we have any flagged questions. If we don't have any flagged questions, it's just going to say no flagged questions at this time.
I would say that, I mean, let the developer work on it. Let us first show you, Andrew, this feature. And yeah, after that, if you wanna, show it in the dashboard, that can be easily be fetched over there. But this is a tricky one. I have to, tell them, and yeah, we need to work on it.
Okay. So, yeah. So nothing is manual. I'm just gonna reiterate that one again. I'm actually gonna get rid of his assumptions here, just so it's not confusing you. So nothing is manual. The threshold, the 70% threshold, is the same for all of the questions. So we don't need to set that one. We don't need to like manually be setting that, and then we don't need to be manually selecting which questions are added to the assessment. It should be randomly adding.
Then do one thing. We can create a settings option over there. There is a settings feature. Within the menu, look, there must be a setting option. So we can add a text over there, text box, mentioning that provide the default threshold value.
Just showing it?
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think?
We're also adding a filter as well. I don't know if there's already a filter for this. But if there is, we're editing it. So for the filter that we're adding to the all assessments, or to the assessment page with all the questions, is we want to be able to sort by the competency of the questions. And then we also want to be able to sort if the average question time is less than a certain amount of time. So, because we want to be able to sort out if a user took like 2 seconds to answer a question, then we know that they didn't actually take those scenarios seriously, and they just rushed through the assessment. Yeah. So we want to be able to filter those answers out.
Okay.
Same for question history. We added a filter to filter out the data for to hide data if the average question time is less than a certain amount, as well as hide data if the average time for the whole assessment is less than a certain amount. And then it would change the percentages here.
Okay.
Is it all making sense, or is there anything that you still have questions on?
No, I have the data with me. So fetching the questions or excluding the answers won't be a problem. We can do that. But after that, we again have to calculate. Tell me something. After excluding an answer which has having which the user took less than a second to answer it, should if we exclude that, will it affect the this calculation over here?
On the screen that I'm showing?
Yep.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, it should. Because that's the goal of the filter, right? Is to actually see the percentages as it is when someone takes this assessment seriously. We don't want the data to be skewed because of one user that didn't take it seriously.
So this one has to be dynamic.
Yes. The other thing too that we haven't talked about yet is what if the user answering a scenario doesn't answer A1, A2, or A3? Because we do have
Yeah, that option.
we do give the user the ability to answer it with
Yeah,
a difficulty, right? Like I didn't agree with any of the answers or all answers
right.
appealed to me equally. So
Yeah,
let's go into that really quickly. So when they select I didn't agree with any of the answers or all answers appealed to me equally, it then opens up the book for them to answer more than one, right? To select more than one.
right.
So in that case, if they answered it with if they if they said that A and B if they sorry I'm like there's a lot to this logic, so I'm trying not to mess it up.
Right.
So if they didn't agree with any of the answers, then the data for that user is not used in our percentage
Right.
for our average percentage, because this percentage really is just for the admins, right? Just for us to know if something is
Yeah.
created equal. So if they selected the answer I didn't agree with any of the answers,
Right.
sorry, let me actually backtrack that. I think I said that wrong. So if they selected I didn't agree with any of the answers, that still tells us that that scenario is not equal to the other scenarios. Because if they couldn't even answer this scenario, even though we want them to be able to answer it the same as the other scenarios, that basically tells us that it's still unequal to the other scenarios. Does that make sense? So the data for that would still be included. It would just be like answering it inconsistently. So let me go through an example. So for scenario A, they chose dominant.
Right.
For scenario B, again they chose dominant.
Yep.
But then for scenario C, they selected I didn't agree with any of the answers,
Got it.
which basically tells us that scenario C is not equal because they didn't select dominant. So then the percentage is there, right? Scenario A would still be at 100, scenario B would still be at 100, and scenario C would be at 0% because they didn't answer it consistently with scenario B and scenario A. So we would still include the data from that. It would
So
just
that's
be, it would,
0%.
yes, it would just be the same as if the answer was inconsistent with the others.
Okay. Okay. Fine. That's fine.
All answers appealed to me equally. Let me think through that one. I think,
This is not about selecting the correct one. This is about selecting the attribute. So I selected the attribute two times first. The third time I didn't answer. Yeah. So that's 100%. So should it be 100%, 100%, and then 0%?
For that one user. Yep. I'll have to double check exactly how Andrew wants us to include the data for the other difficulty types. Because I understand what to do with if the user selected I didn't agree with any of the answers, but I'm not totally sure what he wants us to do with the data if a user selects either all answers appeal to me equally, or if they selected multiple answers within the same scenario.
How exactly that 17% is getting calculated? I mean, I'm not talking about how the 17% as a value is getting calculated.
Yeah,
I'm
it's just
just
the
saying, what
same.
is the calculation? Oh,
It's just the same as we just want
the
to know
response?
if somebody answered it. So this is the percentage of how many users answered or selected this difficulty type.
All right.
So it's the same percentage as like above here with the answers.
Right.
We're just adding that there. So I would have Andrew join us, but I just looked at his calendar and he's in another meeting. So
Okay.
I'll ask him. I'll double verify that one and let you know.
Okay.
Okay, let's. Okay, so I'm gonna move this one down to task list, and I'll put it on you. I just wanted to
Yeah.
meet with you on that one because I know that the logic is a little funky. So
Yeah. Right.
okay. Mm. And then again, just make sure it's implemented only on the dev environment so we can make sure that's tested.
Right.
And then we are making a few updates to the report itself, the assessment report itself, which I can quickly show you. That is down here. So we have removed the percentages when you're looking at your leadership competencies in detail. We've removed the percentages and we've changed it to like a high, medium, low
Okay.
situation. Like if you're low on the dominant scale, here's your description. If you're like, this shows like if you answered it, if you are on like the medium scale or high scale, and it
Got
gives
it.
you that description. So that'll also be something we'll need to implement as well. Um, and then one more thing I'll talk about with you is the new kind of report that Andrew was looking for. So we added a button to the to the assessment overview with the questions to create report. That report is this down here, this right here. So it doesn't need to be designed. It's just like a simple text report of the question at a whole, right? So we're looking at one question with the competency, with the three scenarios and the three answers. This would actually be changed to A1, A2, and A3. This way we can just review all of it at once type thing. Because it's kind of hard to see if I'm in a question. It's kind of hard to see maybe like the whole scenario
Right.
and all the questions and answers. So that is also something that we've added. I'm gonna get rid of this frame. Okay, I think that is everything that is coming into your view, into your pipeline. Any other questions or concerns?
Go to that question history page.
Okay.
Just a small thing. So in the overall section, the answer options, should it be saying as A1, A2, and A3?
Yes, that's what we've changed. Because before this was A, B, and C,
Uh-huh.
but we thought it was too confusing because we also reference the scenarios as A, B, and C.
What will be the options for scenario A? I mean, within overall, you are saying it as A1, A2, A3. Within scenario A, the options should be saying as A2, B2, no. Oh. Within scenario A, the options should be named as B1, B2, B3. Is that correct? I'm just saying that how the option names will be presented. If you are writing it within overall as A1, A2, A3, then how are you mentioning the same options within the different scenario? Is it like within scenario A, the options are going to be B1, B2, B3. Then for scenario B, the options should be C1, C2, C3. And within scenario C, it will be D1, D2, D3.
Can you hear me? Sorry, I think my
Yeah.
AirPods disconnected. I
Oh,
understand what you're asking. Can you show me what it does currently?
yeah.
Because I'm not super familiar with what we're doing currently enough to answer that.
The thing is, I've also forgot. Let me check this out.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's take this one. Take this one. Those. Yeah, it's uh A,
Okay, so
B, C.
it stays the same.
Yeah. A, B, and C.
Okay. Well, it's the same answers, right, for every scenario. So if it stays the same now, I think we keep it the same because the A just means that it's an answer. That's what A represents in design. So answer 1, answer 2, answer 3. It doesn't matter what. Wait a second. Can you tell me why
These
why
are
does this
variation ones.
why does this look so different? So on you're looking at dev, but that shouldn't matter. So what I call scenarios, you have as questions. So you have first question, second question, third question. But
Yeah.
in design, we're changing it to scenario A, scenario B,
Scenarios.
scenario C,
Yeah.
and then you have variation. So you have question, and then you have variation, and then
Yeah.
okay. This is a little bit confusing.
No, we are going to fix it.
Okay.
So it should be scenario A, scenario A, scenario
Uh-huh.
B, scenario B. But
Okay.
again, over here, what should
Yep.
I write them as?
So that is going to be it's still going to be A1, A2, and A3 because the A doesn't represent the scenario. The A represents just the word answer. So it's
All right.
answer 1, answer 2, answer 3, and that will stay the same for overall for scenario A for scenario B. So it'll still be A1, A2, A3 in this case.
Right. Got it. Okay. Fine. That's fine. Just waiting. Yes. Three. Fine. Fine. It will be done.
Okay.
All right. So if this is done, after that, all right. Anything else apart from this?
I think that was it. I think we covered almost everything.
Okay.
I would just really double check like what fields have been removed and what fields have been added. Same for up here. So we've added a few things up here. We also added a last edited by. So just really take notice of the things that we've changed on this screen. And if you have any questions, I set a recurring meeting, a weekly meeting on Wednesdays at 8 a.m. Well, 8 a.m. my time.
Okay.
So right when I come in on Wednesday, we'll have another meeting to review where we're at
Fine.
with the project. And hopefully by then you've kind of talked to the dev and maybe he has
Yeah.
some more questions and we can kind of figure it out from there.
Okay.
Oh, we didn't even get to AquaTraces yet. So let me super quickly go through that.
All right.
Did you have a chance to review any of my comments left over here?
AquaCheck, open up a comment.
So over here was
When was
this
it? 3 days ago? No.
Okay. If you could review these, I know you're probably very busy, but if you could review these this week and just let me know when we can tackle those comments or just respond to my comments. There were actually screens missed in design. So the design team is working on new screens that we'll need to implement just for the registration flow of a new client. So just so you know, that'll be coming into your pipeline as well.
Okay. Tell me, so the comments that you have mentioned, is it on all the pages or just these couple of them I see right now?
Yeah, just a couple of them. All I did was copy and paste the structure that I had previously, but I only took screenshots, and I only left comments on things that needed to be commented on. I didn't take screenshots of obviously every screen.
Okay, so I should be going through this page only. I mean, this section.
Yes, the last one here. So I'll. There you go.
Thank you so much.
Yep. So just review these. I also left. I linked you to the right logo because I see that the logo is kind of inconsistent across the whole web app. So I've left you a link for that. If you could update that for me.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. So go ahead and review those, and then the design team already actually delivered the new screen, so I'll get those reviewed. And if those are approved, I'll add them as a comment here for you.
Not a problem. Yeah.
And then I did want to talk about Review Mag as well, but I have to go through that project and just make sure that all the tasks are in there that are still relevant, because some of the tasks have been sitting in there for months now. So I'm going to go through the Review Mag project, make sure that the tasks in there are still relevant and accurate, and then we can
Right.
we can tackle that one. We'll probably, honestly, we'll probably tackle it when you guys return from vacate or from your holiday.
Yeah.
So I don't want you to worry about that one right now, because I'm sure this week is probably already filling up for you.
Yeah. Pretty much. Fine. Don't worry. I will talk to the dev right away after this one. And,
Okay.
yeah, we'll start working on it once we get the approval from Path. Okay.
All right.
Fine.
Well, thanks for
All
meeting.
right. Thank you. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
Have a nice.
I'll send this recording over to you as well once it's done processing.
Yeah. Great. That would be great.
All right.
Thanks.
Sounds good. Thanks, Abhishek.
Thank you. Bye.
Yep. Bye.